Welcome to the Kate Molland channel. My podcast is now in progress. Let's tune in.
I can't see an atheist on a Christian site or someone who's a non-Christian on a Christian site, because that would make him an instant liar. You see my point?
No, very valid.
So that's what I mean when I say you're going to have some kind of an edge. And a lot of these Christian men that are on these sites are not necessarily religious Christians, but many of them follow the teachings of Jesus of Nazareth. And I think that's even better, to be with somebody who follows the teachings of Jesus of Nazareth than somebody who professes to be a Christian and who goes to church and he's got all the wrong motivations and he's there for all the wrong reasons.
Okay.
You see where I'm coming from?
I do. And that makes a very valid point about a different type of site that's more in that vein, because I've seen some of the categories that you can nominate for yourself regarding, what level of Christianity are you at? Like, are you a holiday goer? Are you like a faithful member and you're going twice a week? So they do provide a variety of, I don't want to say levels or tiers, but options for what your religious affiliation is.
I'm not saying that a Christian makes a better husband than a non-Christian. I am saying we are looking at an evaluation process. And it's going to be hard to evaluate whether a man wants to get married or whether he doesn't want to get married. But when a man says that he is a Christian, usually there is a belief and a way of life that's associated with that. And I think it's that way of life is what we're looking at. Not so much what church does he go to and all that sort of thing, but what is your way of life and how does the teachings of Jesus of Nazareth affect your day-to-day decisions?
Okay.
And how will those teachings carry over in our relationship? Meaning you've got a lot more to talk about. And me being, knowledgeable in that area, I can pretty much tell you whether someone is kind of new to all of this. And that's okay too, because there are questions to ask a newbie Christian. And then there's also questions to ask someone who has been, someone who claims to have been in the faith for a long, long time. Because the cool thing about Christianity is that there are convictions, there are beliefs, and there are behavior patterns associated with it. When you look at it from a Sermon on the Mount perspective.
Okay.
Not a Christian historical record perspective.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, good. No, that makes a lot of sense. But I can use your help in deciphering these men and their profiles anyway, because you see things that I do not pick up on, and then you're able to help me cultivate questions that will draw them out further beyond what they provide on the profile.
Kate, I've known you for years. You are a very smart girl. You will be able to come up with your own heartfelt, authentic questions along with me. And as a team, I think we would be able to, at least get a better picture of who this person is. And like I said before, there is no way to take the gamble out of the pursuit of true love. There's no way when anybody, I don't care if it's male or female, has made the decision that they want a true love in their life, you are walking into the casino of romance, where there are many losers and there are winners. And just like in a real casino, why do the same people win consistently at poker? Why do the same people win consistently at blackjack? Why do the people win consistently on the crap tables? Because they know the power of a strategy. They're just not crazy people going in there on a gut feeling or with a rabbit's foot and throwing their money all over the place. And we certainly don't want you to do that when it comes to the casino of romance.
No, I want to protect my time and I want to protect my spirit. And I think that's really important. And I think anybody who's looking to get into a relationship should be protective of their spirit and of their time, because, time is going to win.
It always does. So let's give the audience a takeaway. You are following up on 4 gentlemen that you met on this one particular platform.
Correct.
So now there's just going to be a wait and see.
There's a wait and see thing with them, and then I'll go investigate a religious-based platform.
Okay, so let's leave our viewers with something that they can take away from this conversation. Point 1 is you've narrowed it down to your last 4, and these 4 will determine whether you move forward with one of these individuals or whether you terminate your relationship with all 4 and the platform.
Pretty much. That's what I'm looking at. I mean, you do get new members on the platform, but I feel like that's just another dopamine hit where it's like, oh, but wait, there might be someone new that comes along. And so I don't want to be putting all my, eggs on the cart of hope.
No, I totally get what you're saying. I went into a donut shop one time and I bought a donut and I said, I really don't like this donut and I don't want my money back. That's fine, but I don't like this donut. So he says, well, here, let me give you another one. So I tried another. I didn't like that one either. And then I said, no, it's okay. These donuts just aren't what I'm looking for. He said, well, I got one more I want you to try. And I didn't like that one either. He actually chased me with a dozen donuts. He wanted me to try every donut in the place to win me over as a customer. And at that point, I was like over donutted.
That's
and
sad.
I just said, I don't want any donuts. So, and I've never gone back to that donut shop.
Well, he showed he was desperate in order to have you like one stinking donut in his shop. His shop of all these donuts, and you can't find anything that you were interested in tasting.
And that's the same with this platform. I think you've taken the best chunk of what they had to offer.
Really?
I think so. Because, people want to give you their best when you first sign on.
Oh.
And that was it. That's it. Like you said, everything else is just to, drag you on and lead you on. Now, don't be surprised if they say, well, listen, if you resubscribe with us, we'll lower the rate. We'll bring it down to $1 a month, whatever the case may be. But you honestly feel that, look, I've given this my best shot. And the key word was enthusiasm. You're not connecting spiritually with it. Leave it alone. It's time, like some people would say, the universe is telling you get off this platform and go somewhere else. So let's try the other one and let's see what happens.
I like that idea. Let's onward and upward.
Welcome to the Kate Molland channel. My podcast is now in progress. Let's tune in.
Okay, to pick it up where we left off, I was going to look into Christian-based online dating sites.
Okay.
And I did. And I found that there were not a lot of men in my age range that were local to my area.
Okay, but let me ask you this. If they were extraordinarily good looking and had all the ingredients you wanted in a man, would the geography
Oh,
still
that's a
make
good
difference?
question. No, I mean, if people have means or they're willing to relocate, that's totally different. But from what I was seeing, I wasn't seeing a lot.
Okay, so what was your next move?
I found another regular dating site, nothing that was Christian based or, to a certain lifestyle, just a very, broad dating site. So I went into that.
Okay, was there a buzz? Was there any activity? Anything interest you?
Yeah, I found that there's a lot more activity on this site. So in the last 6 days, I've gotten about 1,500 likes, and I've had 10% of that reach out with messages.
10%, so over 150 people reached out with messages based on your profile.
In the last 6 days.
Okay, now is this the premium or is this the free trial?
I'm still only doing the free trial. So with the guys that have reached out to me and sent messages, I can only look at them one at a time. So I have to look at them and I can look at their profile and then I can determine if I like them. And then I can kind of just put them in that like category and still not reply yet. Or I discard them in order to see the next one.
I see. So would you say that even though, okay, because we were talking about numbers earlier and we were talking about how, according to the stats, Pew Research, and even some of the online dating research studies show that 12% lead to marriages. Most online dating sites are basically for meeting people and seeing where it goes from there, but most people don't seem to want to get married. They seem to be there for hookups and short-term relationships so they can bounce from body to body. Everybody's trying to raise their body count for some reason, and I don't know what that means or where they're going with that, but you're not in it for that. I understand you are more interested in a long-term relationship. So with those odds in your favor, which are just basically 12%, is that still enough for you to say, yeah, I will invest my time in this? Yes, I will still see where this goes.
It is for me. I'm not going on for hours on end. I'm kind of going on maybe once a day or every other day. And I'm only going on maybe 10 to 20 minutes in order to go through the gentlemen who have reached out to me. So I'm not making a lot of progress every day. I'm not going to be on there for hours and getting into the dopamine hits of all the likes and the swiping.
I got you. Okay. So again, 66% of the marriages, according to the stats, are the result of traditional ways of meeting people through relatives, through churches, being involved in the community. being involved in projects, classes, universities, studying musical instruments, things like that. That seems to be where most of the long-term relationships seem to come from, that also segue into weddings and marriages, because still 1 million people are being married every year in the United States of America. You got 1 million people getting married, and 66% of those come from the traditional means of meeting people. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'd like to know what activities I should be participating in with the limited free time that I have in order to then cultivate friendships that lead to marriages.
And, I think that is the million-dollar question. That is definitely the million-dollar question, because we are all competing for more time. And I think that if we really made the room, I think it is possible. I mean, even because I don't think the average person is busier than, say, Bill Gates or Oprah Winfrey or your average popular recording artist or your average popular actress. I think their schedules are filled with activity, and yet they would still find the time to do what it is they have to do. I mean, because I hear it all the time about how busy somebody is, but they still have time for their garden. How busy someone is, but they still have time to volunteer. So the question is, do you think it is a lack of time management, or do you really believe that there just is no time?
No, I would say for me it is time management and daylight hours and versus, dark hours. So I'm somebody that gets up before 5 a.m. every day, whether it's the weekend or not. So I'm trying to take back parts of my day so that I can allocate them towards things that are moving me forward.
Mm-hmm.
But then, with the habit of getting up by 5 a.m. comes the habit of going to bed before 10. So you end up with, people who want to do things later in the evening, but I don't necessarily subscribe to that right now.
I see what you mean. But let me ask you this. So what would you do with your life if you knew you could not fail? Because a lot of times we say, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do that. But we always look at the possibility of failing, so we don't invest a lot of time and energy into it. But let's just say, for example, there was something you wanted to do, and the gods told you, you do this, you will not fail. Just do it. What would that be?
It would be something in the vein of like a Martha Stewart or a Chip and Joanna Gaines, where they have like properties in crafting and DIY and the baking and the cooking. Like I am just really drawn to those things, that spectrum of activity. I love to bake. I'm a gluten-free baker. I love doing DIY, and I like being able to inspire people to try to do things for themselves. Maybe do a little research, figure out which tools are needed, and give it a go.
Okay, so everything in a Good Housekeeping magazine that I see, that's what you would do if you knew you could not fail.
Essentially, yeah. I mean, some people would say that it sounds dated or antiquated, but I just feel that being able to even make my friends' baby blankets has just been really fulfilling for me, because like I'll crochet them and I'll start over 10 times on a pattern, but the end result, like it's so heartfelt to me, and I know that my friends have appreciated it when they've had their little kids.
Okay, so and how much of that are you doing now? How much of any of that are you doing? Any DIY things that you're finding or making the time to do in your life in the present?
I'm getting back into it. Like I had a really busy season, the last couple of weeks where I was traveling and things that I've committed to. And so now that part of my calendar is cleaning up. So I'm really grateful to be able to be in town and to be home. But I have a few projects that have been long-standing that I'm looking to finish in the next few weeks.
Okay. And so now my next question is, what are your thoughts on the law of attraction? Do you believe that that is a power that does exist?
I think it does exist. I do believe in the law of attraction. I'm not too woo-woo on it, but I don't know enough about it either, or how to implement it to my advantage.
Okay. What if someone were to tell you that the more you seek out your authentic self, the more powerful that law of attraction will play out and bring to you the things that you want that are not in your life right now. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm willing to try.
Willing to try?
I am willing to go for it.
Okay. What do you think the advantages are? Have you ever heard that expression before? Being your authentic self. What do you think that means?